Hey everybody, Noah here with TruKno, and this is part one of our active threat breakdown series. Now, as you are all well aware, a majority of companies have been forced to transition into an almost entirely remote working environment. Now, obviously, with greater freedom comes greater responsibility, both for individuals and the companies that they work for. This near unanimous shift to remote work has turned traditional enterprise security protocols completely on their head. The distinction between personal and professional technology has all but vanished, and in many cases, employees are accessing their connected office networks on poorly secured Wi-Fi routers and shared computers. Now, malware that is usually confined to spread just around the house is finding its way onto company servers. So, today we will go through some of the most active and relevant threats that you should be aware of, all nicely curated for you on TruKno.com. On TruKno, we're actively curating cyber information from over 2,000 sources and making it as easy as possible for you to access the right information with the least amount of steps in between. So for today, I'm just going to type in coronavirus in the search bar, and here we have a list of the most active threats as they pertain to this global health crisis. And as you can see, we're actively aggregating all related breaches and articles to these threats in real time as they are documented. If you want to dive deeper into any of these threats, you can do so yourself completely free at TruKno.com. The first threat we'll go over is typo squatting. Since the beginning of 2020, over 1,700 new domains have been registered, 25% of which were created in the last week alone. Now, 4% of these domains have been found to contain suspicious characteristics. New phishing websites have been spotted for just about every leading communication application, as well as government, healthcare, and humanitarian organizations, most notably the WHO. A key target for these typo squatting attacks are enterprise web conferencing companies. Zoom, Google Classroom, and Cisco's WebEx have all been the lead targets of phishing websites taking advantage of less vigilant users and just simple typos. Next up, we have SMS phishing, aka smishing. And right now, a main target for these smishing attacks are actually home delivery services. As people are waiting for their coveted toilet paper and other essentials to be delivered to their doorstep, they're constantly getting notifications about delivery delays and other updates. Scammers are taking advantage of this by sending texts with standard mocked-up phishing sites behind them. From here, they're setting up typical scams like confirming login credentials and in some cases actually asking for a top-up payment to ensure on-time delivery, thus capturing your full credit card details in the process. Another attack we're seeing at pretty high frequency are brand impersonation email attacks, targeting both the general public and COVID-19 response staff and researchers. These hackers are leveraging the increased pressure being put on health organizations and carrying out social engineering and spear phishing attacks in the hope of exploiting compromised credentials and critical vulnerabilities. Fake verification emails and downloadable safety measure files are some of the main tactics being used by attackers in hopes of gaining access to critical information regarding key research they can use to extract ransom payments with. With that being said, it makes sense that ransomware has also seen a dramatic uptick in incidents, with reported breaches ranging from insurers to even vaccine test centers. The hacker group known as Maze recently compromised the infrastructure of Hammersmith Medicine's research, a UK-based research team currently on standby for developing a COVID-19 vaccine. These hackers stole sensitive data on medical trial volunteers, including identification documents, medical backgrounds, and even the vaccination studies the volunteers were put through, all of which were publicly posted when the research firm refused to pay a demanded ransom. A newer strain of ransomware called Doppler paymer actually exfiltrates data out of an infected network before encrypting user files. They had actually successfully locked the medical and military contractor Kimchuk out of their systems just last month. Mobile ransomware attacks have also been locking up Android devices through a malicious app claiming to track coronavirus cases, but instead installing ransomware and locking users out of their devices. This screen lock attack, now dubbed COVID lock, was discovered by DNS threat intelligence company Domain Tools and continues to exploit people when they are at their most vulnerable and most likely to let their guard down. The third-party app requires a $100 Bitcoin ransom to be paid, or else all their data will be erased and their social accounts will be released to the public. Disinformation attacks have been rampant in the last few months. According to NewsGuard, content engagement on false and misleading news about COVID-19 is over 142 times that of legitimate sources like the CDC and WHO. NewsGuard has launched a coronavirus misinformation tracking center that lists websites which are reporting misleading and false information, as well as offering credibility and transparency nutrition labels for news sites. Now, this was just a brief overview of some of the most relevant cyber threats that we should all be aware of during this global pandemic. If you found any of this information particularly valuable and would like to take a deeper dive into some of the topics we covered, you can do so yourself at TruKno.com. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.